A closer look at Jinping Mei Chapter 37. The Missing Heroine. This is the audition. Girls are not difficult to buy. Nouveau rich like the Xiamen family often buy people on the spot. Pan Jinlian came in and gave her the chunmai that had served Yunyang, bought another Xiaoyu for 5 taels of silver, and bought Qiuju, the girl on the stove, for 60 taels of silver. Wu Yunyang, who is the matron of the house, naturally knows the secret of this. When choosing a concubine for Ziguan's family, first of all, she must have good looks. Secondly, her family background and upbringing should not be too bad. This is a concubine who is chosen in the name of childbearing. At least she must be a woman from a good family if she gives birth to a son and a half. The biological mother's background must not be embarrassing, and its age and chastity. At least a virgin. The child is wearing a cloud bun. Her straight body is as straight as a pencil. Her feet are a little tangled. Her face is heavily painted, and she has a small mouth. Wang Liuer is determined to win by selling his daughter. Saijin is the chief steward of Taishikai's house. Just like Lai Dao and Jia's house, he is so powerful that even Xiamen King wants to fawn over him. Does it feel like for the 14 or 15-year-old Hanai to stay away from her family and come to Tokyo to be the concubine of a man in her 40s, fearful or hopeful? No matter what she thought, she was not the protagonist. After being interviewed by Xiamen King, the protagonist is her mother Wang Liuer. Xiamen King doesn't look at his daughter. He only looks at women. Picture what? To Xiamen Sing's skills in bed, to Xiamen King's huge net worth. Naturally it is the latter. Unlike Song Huilian, who is carefree, Wang Liuer is a woman with clear goals. Han Daoguo is her husband, a comrade in the same trench. They have a daughter in common, and she belongs to her. Honor can relieve her boredom. The real benefit will be to make some money and gain some influence from them. Thinking about the sexual intercourse in the snow cave of Zhangchanwu that defied the severe cold and challenged the limits of the human body under the grape trellis, Xiamen King's great satisfaction in Wang Liuer shows that he is powerful. After a night of killing, Wang Liuer was still not satisfied. Dad, come back early tomorrow. Let's take off our clothes and have fun during the day. Xiamen King was overjoyed. How could such a well-matched opponent not let him rise? She asked the maid to buy it for her, and they hung out during the day until the watch came up. She was rewarded every time. Old Feng, who was so happy that he was the one who brought her the strings, hung around Wang Liuer's house every day. Pinger didn't even go to Pinger, and Pu Dianer, the Buddhist worshipper who bought it for Wu Yunyang, also completely forgot about it. Not only was Wu Yunyang not annoyed, but she rewarded her with tea cakes. In terms of roles, Lao Feng is not as impressive as Wang Po, who proposed 10 lighting plans at the beginning. He may not be familiar with Wang Po's killing skills, but his ability is not bad. Naturally, she was not idle. A woolen shop opened in front of Shizi Street, so she was even busier. Li Pinger laughed at her. Mom, you are not idle when I invite you. I don't know where the money you earn all day long is. Some comments said, Lao Feng is Pinger's nanny. Once Wang Liuer's needs are infiltrated, he abandons Pinger like a passerby. Writing about this kind of person really makes his heart and lungs break out. How much money did Lao Feng make from Wang Liuer? He said that he would marry Sister Hanai and pimp Wang Liuer's Xiamen King. Xiamen King gave him a tael of silver as a thank you gift. And Han Daoguo also gave him a tael of silver as a thank you gift. Xiamen King gave Wang Liuer 4 taels of silver to find a girl for him. Every time Xiamen King came to Wang Liuer's place, Xiamen King would give Wang Liuer 1 or 2 taels of silver as payment. Old Feng would carry a pot of wine for him, buy things on the street, and sort them out. And he would be so kind to Wang Liuer that he could make a living. The girl can get some rebates when she buys things, but there is no other. A woman who smells doesn't even have a foothold. This is the world of Jinping Mei. Here unmarried women are usually speechless. Yinger, the daughter of Wuhan University, only said one sentence from beginning to end, "Uncle, I'm scared." Sister Han-ai was prepared by her parents to have a good future. She was considered pampered. She was sent to Tokyo as soon as she appeared on the show without even opening her mouth. Pan Jinlian was sold to Wang Zhaoxuan's house at the age of 9, to Zhang Dahu at the age of 15, and later married to Wu Daling. She could not help herself in everything. After getting married, Jin Lian opened her mouth and complained that Zhang Dahu had hired the wrong man and supported Wu Daling in moving to rent a house, but it was a pity that it was too late. There are exceptions. Chen Mai in Pan Jinlian's room is pretty and hot-tempered, and is loved by all. Qiu Chu was purely the object event for Jinlian and Chen Mai. CC is no exception. Chen Mai's status still stems from Ximon King's favor and favor. For the smell of men, women are fighting invisibly and tangibly. This is a battle for survival for women like Pan Jinlian who have nothing. Men are money and status. For women like Meng Yulu and Li Ping'er who have money, men are dependence and social status. There are many women in Jinping Mei, all kinds of women, fierce, gentle, frivolous, steady. It's a pity that there is no protagonist. They are supporting roles on the man's stage. A closer look at Chapter 38 of Jinping Mei, Alive. After Pan Liuer succeeded, Ximon King hooked up with Wang Liuer again. Pan Liuer's family was born as a tailor, and Wang Liuer's family was born as a butcher. Everyone is a craftsman. Old craftsmanship seems to be in decline, and new craftsmanship may be able to make a way forward. So Pan Liuer learned to make dumplings. The two Liuers are sure to have a finger on the pulse of the times. The red flag is fluttering at home, and the colorful flags are fluttering outside. Ximon King, a layman, is also very fond of poetry. He wanted to write a poem, "Why should we cut the candles from the west window together to be worthy of the beautiful scenery, and the good time is so bad? It is extremely hot and extremely cold. What is so popular now is that it will be empty later. This is something." Ying Earl Guan said, "Brotherhood is the guarantee. Underneath the passion, the coldness is actually hidden for the sake of exchange of interests." This laid the foundation for Ximon King to go to Wang Liuer's house. When Ximon King hit the road, Honor's mischief led him to get there first. After all, the wealth of our own brothers should not flow to outsiders. One walked to the front yard and the other entered the backyard, which was quite enjoyable. Who knows that someone wants to restructure assets? It is said to liberate productivity. At this time, Honor's small intestine was naturally eliminated as a low-quality asset. Foreign investment has come in droves. Honor couldn't twist his thigh with his arms, so he had to run away. Ximon King and Wang Liuer drank wine one after another. When they drank deeply, the flutes played melodiously and the flowers bloomed in the garden. Ximon King thought the same thing. After all, he would have to walk up and down this road in the future. The neighbors didn't look like him. In order to avoid people's attention and spit, he should consider improving Wang Liuer's accommodation conditions. The two of them laughed again. They took a break, and there was still work to do in the morning. Ordinary people live their lives without all the bells and whistles. The strange thing is that Honor can't drink wine and has to eat sticks. Honor suffered a loss because he did not keep pace with the times, a product of small farmer economy. Catching up with the capital era. The capital era has the logic of the capital era. Ximon King had already studied philosophical issues. Ximon King rode a green horse, and there was a white horse tied at home. But when he met Jia Tixing on the road, he was thinking about the yellow horse. A white horse is not a horse, and a green horse is not a horse. The yellow horse who doesn't say it but knows it in his heart is the real horse. Let's talk about it later. Take the initiative to owe someone a favor, and from then on you come and go with me to show your humanity. When we take care of each other, it's not a hookup relationship, but a friend relationship. It's better to open the skylight and speak frankly from now on. But although there are beautiful trees in Liangyuan, home is the port where it is anchored. When he got home, he went to see Li Ping'er. Li Ping'er was the sixth concubine in the Ximon family, but this sixth aunt is not simple. She has invested in shares and has already produced results. It's brother Ximeng Guan who is in my arms. It is not easy for foreign capital to enter. Big brother saves face. It's not always a good face. Back then, he was able to swallow his anger when faced with a big business because he provided financial and industrial support. Later, War had a military exercise with Tiger in the woods. Big brother picked up the lost face because he had someone to support him. Once the golden brand has lost its freshness, it can only accept the fate of being hidden. So when I heard the Iron Horse Autumn Wind, I was startled every step of the way, suspecting that a beautiful woman was coming. But it turned out that the green mountains were faint and the water was far away. And the beautiful woman was drunk and gentle in the countryside, but she taught others how to play the flute. Pan Liuer looks back on his career as an anchor. Can he not feel sorry for himself? Self-pity is hard to give up on. A song ran in my heart, kiss me, kiss my balls, give me a little kiss. No, Pan Liuer is not from northern Shaanxi. As a literary and artistic young woman, she can only play the pipa. With the pipa in her hand, she was once a goat on the hillside, but now she is a second offender in the water of the river. What she plays is Lonely Spring Boudoir, cold. And people are better than yellow flowers. Then, when Ximeng King came to Li Liuer's room in the wind and snow to play the role of a good husband and father, Pan Liuer was heartbroken. The cruelest one in Jin Ping Mei is Pan Liuer. But the most miserable one is also Pan Liuer. After all, artistic young people have high emotional intelligence, and like Song Huilian, who was good at burning pig heads, she kicked off her legs and hanged herself at the slightest disagreement. Why are you so anxious? Afraid of delaying your family's coffin business? Although Song Huilian was unbearable, she was also heroic. He's still considered a big man in the women's team. His man is useless. The only way to beat a woman when something happens is to talk nonsense. Unlike Wang Liuer's husband, he was afraid that his wife would lose her life, so he took the initiative to move into the shop. And he was afraid that the benefactor would be unhappy, so he would teach his wife to do things easily. But no matter Song Huilian or Wang Liuer, they still have a man to rely on. Pan Liuer has no one to rely on. My mother still runs to Li Ping'er's house from time to time. The end of Wuhan University that year had foreshadowed the end of his own family. Therefore, it was absolutely necessary to put Ximeng Guan brother to death later. Cutting off the assets reorganization crystallization of Ximeng King and Li Liuer would be equivalent to selling off her shares in order to be on equal footing. Appearance is also a productive force, but it is not an irreplaceable resource. No one in the Ximeng mansion has a firm foothold without toothbrushes. The so-called human relations are also exchanges of interests. Retail investors like Wang Liuer have a deeper understanding of this because of their difficult survival. Therefore, whenever there is a climax, it is the time when Wang Liuer has to go too long to look at Shu. For people like Wang Liuer, one tael of silver and one hairpin are worth one share. Han Daguo was not born a bastard. It was the tragedy of living that drove him into a tortoise. Fortunately, Wang Liuer is still free. Pan Liuer was not so lucky. In order to survive, he had to fight with his life. The murderous intention was ambush on the snowy night, just waiting for a snow-white lion cat. It's the craftsman's tragedy. Some people have successfully transformed, some are bankrupt and unemployed, and some are in tears. On this snowy night, it was a play for 3 and 6 children. It is also the stage and dojo for those speculators, such as Count Ying, Mrs. Feng and Li Shiwang. However, capital is so surging now, it will be so lonely in the future. After all, when the market design is imperfect, the rules can change in the hands of people. There is no sense of security and everyone is running around. For example, Han Daguo personally sent his daughter to Tokyo, and now he has made room for Ximeng King. Ximeng King and Butler Zai called each other in-laws, and they were good friends with Wang Liuer. Wang Liuer and Han Daguo's brothers had a close relationship, and her daughter Han Aiji later had a stormy relationship with Ximeng King's son-in-law Chen Jingji. Chen Jingji later became pregnant with his mother-in-law Pan Liuer after having a baby. Wu Yunyang, another mother-in-law, kicked her out of the house. Wu Yunyang's goddaughter Li Guiji and Simon King were in good terms, seeing that Li Guiji recognized Wu Yunyang as her godmother. Simon King's other lover Wu Yinar also recognized Li Ping'er as his godmother. Li Ping'er did it. Mother Feng introduced Wang Liu'er to Simon King as a matchmaker. Wang Liu'er's daughter was equal to Simon King's daughter. But Wang Liu'er played the flute and sang the flowers in the backyard while driving Simon King to call Dada. Ha ha ha, it's a mess. It's a mess. No wonder it's so frustrating to do all the math. That's it. Even if you think you are stupid, it's easy to turn around when you feel numb. Once a kid is kidnapped, it becomes trafficking. Having said that, everyone is out to kidnap and traffic. So why do we need bicycles? Everything is said and done with one goal in mind: to live. A closer look at Chapter 39 of Jinping Mei, The Secret of Buddhism and Taoism. At the beginning of this chapter, Wu Daoguan from the Jade Emperor Temple sent his apprentice Wu Yingxun to give Simon King a spring festival gift. How do you think this behavior looks like the routine used by companies in modern society to win over VIP customers? Gifts are actually not valuable. They're mainly emotional investments, and they will become familiar with you once you go back and forth. But Jade Emperor Temple is different from modern companies. After all, it is a Taoist temple, and it sells virtual products. Like I can help you realize your wishes in exchange for funds for the Taoist temple's daily operations. What it relies on is that people accept the complete logical system constructed by Taoism in their minds. The core point is that people believe that the Taoist leaders are watching them from some invisible place. Just like Wu Yunyang said, you will make a promise intentionally or unintentionally, and the gods will remember it. These leaders have a running list of all living beings, recording people's words and deeds in great detail. Grandma Liu told a story in A Dream of Red Mansions, saying that the Jade Emperor sat majestically in the heaven and managed everything in the world down to the smallest detail. A woman on the ground prayed for a grandson, seeing her sincerity. The Jade Emperor sent Guanyin Bodhisattva to send a boy. People who listened to the story didn't think it was ridiculous. For example, Mrs. Wang was moved and couldn't help but listen. The most attractive thing about it is that it is directly followed by an authority, unlike in real society, where you can never escape the circle of all living beings. In the final analysis, people want something, and they're powerless but want to have it. When Li Ping'er gave birth to a child, Simon King made a promise of 120 points, which meant that Simon King was helpless when Ping'er gave birth to a child. He likes Li Ping'er and longs to have another child, but who knows what accident will happen. He was fragile at that moment, and he could only support himself through this fragile moment by making a wish. Ping'er gave birth to the child successfully, but Simon King forgot about the wish he made. Maybe it's because he is too busy, but the most fundamental thing is that he has become stronger again. When Wu Yunyang said that his son Cheng Regia was tweeting, chirping, and he himself felt that the child was just a little timid, he had no strength again. So he immediately entertained Wu Yingxun, Wu Daoguan's apprentice, and decided to go to the Jade Emperor Temple on the 9th day of the first lunar month to fulfill his vow. Judging from Wu Yingxun's attitude to please Simon King, the Jade Emperor Temple is probably responsible for its own profits and losses. So whether it can win over VIP customers has become very important. Of course, as a VIP customer, Simon King was extremely generous. He sealed 15 taels of money and rewarded Wu Yingxun with 1 tael of silver. When it was due, he gave another gift, 1 stone of white rice, 1 stone of qianjiang, 10 pounds of official candles, 5 pounds of sandalwood horse tooth incense, 16 pieces of raw eye cloth for lining. Then he gave a pair of jingduan, 2 jars of nanju for fresh geese, a pair of pig's hooves, a corner of mutton, and 10 taels of silver. Wu Daoguan also actively cooperated, provided the venue, provided the atmosphere, and exceeded the quota required by the customer. Wu Daoguan told Simon King that he added 24 points were added to thank heaven and earth, 12 points were added to praise God, and 24 points were recommended for death, making a total of 180 points for the memorial ceremony. He named the official brother Wu Yingyuan and sent it in front of the 3 treasures. This means that Brother Guan has registered in front of the 3 treasures and Others who secretly want to harm him will not dare to move forward. This is the model of dealing between the secular world and Taoism, or the model of dealing with Taoism. It seems that everyone is happy. Jade Emperor Temple has a job to survive. Ximon King has peace of mind, and the safety of his children is guaranteed. This model is prevalent in every corner of China. In A Dream of Red Mansions, Bao Yu also has a name, and the godmother is Ma Daobo. Mr. Lu Shun also mentioned in My First Master that when he was a child, he took his name as a disciple of a monk in order to make a living. However, can it really ensure the safety of children? Someone once commented on this and said some very sharp and mean words. He said, "I say that the life of Brother Ji Guan is not as good as the death of Jin Lian. The death of Jin Lian may still lead to life." Obviously, wishing that Brother Guan would be killed by Jin Lian a few months later is the direct reason for commenting on these words. The underlying reason is that he does not believe in these Taoist tricks of pretending to be gods and ghosts. Another article from the Ming Dynasty. The crazy man is trapped in the famous rain, and the thief Tao casts his money in the net directly revealed the secrets of the Taoist temple. When a scholar who wanted to take a shortcut asked for a no, one scholar, the Taoist abbot agreed. A nun next to him who was in contact with him felt guilty and asked what if he couldn't come. The host replied, "If I can't ask for it, do I need you to pay for it?" Isn't it appropriate to say that his good deeds are not enough if it is difficult for him to give a few large gifts? The truth about the popularity of Taoist temples is, if it happens by chance, it is attributed to it. If it does not happen by chance, it is due to it. That's because you don't have enough moral character. Why do people not question the fakeness of this product, but rather believe that they are not moral enough? First, everyone who comes looking for this product basically believes in it. If you don't believe it, don't come here. Second, the virtual world it depicts is too powerful, and no one dares to be disrespectful. Wu Yunyang was very addicted. It was she who reminded Ximon King to fulfill his vow this time. When Ximon King was drinking at the Jade Emperor Temple for the night, she led the women at home to listen to the nuns' lectures on Buddhist scriptures. Perhaps it can be said that whether it is Taoism and Taoism are not the same thing, or Buddhism, their original meaning is to make people feel at peace in their hearts. This is their ultimate charm. However, the people who implement these principles are mixed. Pan Jinlian asked the nun, if a Taoist priest has a wife, could Master Wang also have a man? Master Wang answered this way, if a Taoist monk hides his hat, he can't go there. Like me, a monk can recognize it by his actions. This sentence is a wonderful answer. It not only reminds readers that Taoist Wu prayed for Ximon King so solemnly, but who knows who is behind him. The whole story suddenly became imaginative, and what was even better was the tone of her voice, which seemed to be envious and unwilling, but Wu Yunyang treated her as a guest of honor. But maybe it's also a good thing. When you meet a man like Ximon King who you can't control, if you don't divert your attention, won't you drive yourself crazy? The 9th day of the first lunar month was also Pan Jinlian's birthday, but Ximon King chose this day to go to the Taoist temple to fulfill his wish. Pan Jinlian was eager for Ximon King to come home, and even went to the gate to wait for it. However, Ximon King was not waiting for him at night. She hated the news of returning home. Yunyang seemed indifferent. If he doesn't come, let's just be at ease. Let's listen to Master Wang's explanation of cause and effect and sing Buddhist songs. I heard that singing Buddhist songs was Wu Yunyang's pastime, and it was also an important pastime for middle-class urban women in the Ming Dynasty. For example, ordinary girls were not allowed to go out, but if they went to temples or Taoist temples to burn incense, they were allowed. It can be seen that Buddhism and Taoism are closely related to secular life. Her status as a married woman does not allow her to be jealous. She also has such requirements for herself. She needs something to calm the anxiety in her heart. In A Dream of Red Mansions, Mrs. Wang is more advanced. She specially sets up a small Buddhist hall where she can temporarily relax herself. However, more people don't believe it. In this episode, when Jin Lian teases Master Wang, it makes people forget her ferocity and evil, and makes her a little cute. She exposed Master Wang behind the Guanyin Temple where you live as the Zhuangming Temple. As the saying goes, if the male monk's temple faces the female monk's temple, there will be trouble. As for the origin of monks, there is such a record in Jgulu. Some people become monks because of robbery. Some people become monks after escaping from prison. Some people become monks because they disobey their parents. Or some people become monks because their wives are angry. A monk may be a monk because he has no debts to repay. Or he may be a monk because he is poor in food and clothing. Or he may wear hair as a monk. Or a husband may be a monk while his wife wears her hair. This is called dual cultivation. How unbearable are the monks, one can imagine. Perhaps because she has been used to this kind of corruption since childhood. Jin Lian has no sense of karma, and is never ashamed of what she has done. Once she is caught doing something wrong, she always tries to find ways to erase it or blame others. From a certain perspective, Jin Lian is a complete denialist in terms of religious consciousness. She only relies on herself. When you are at your weakest, you choose to have an affair with another man and then gain the strength to survive. Pan Jinlian knew the writing and saw that besides Wu Yunyang, only Li Ping'er was written on the paper sent from the Jade Emperor Temple. She was crazy jealous. The trick of I want to get into his belly mentioned at the beginning of this chapter seems to have failed, and Li Ping'er and her son have become her biggest threat. However, she has not lost her strength yet. She relied on her cleverness to design and kill Guanj Ping'er and get rid of the serious trouble in her heart. However, this is also her misfortune. With Ping'er persuading and Guanj stumbling, Simon King can restrain herself a little. If Simon King can live a few more years, she, Pan Jinlian, will not be sent out of Ximen so early. Mansion. Keeping the bottle that knows how to be humble may be the best solution. In this sense, if people don't have any fear in their hearts in addition to law and morality, the reincarnation of heaven and religious consciousness, also a force that restrains people's evil deeds. They will be so fierce that they will be covered in knives and even kill themselves. Think of successful people. One commentator said, "This episode is specifically for the Nirvana to invite blessings." He also said, "The world is stupid and does not understand, but the immortals and Buddhas have spirits. So they should also laugh." However, facing people like Pan Jinlian who know all the transactions and are unwilling to hand over their fears easily, they really can't laugh. A closer look at Chapter 40 of Jin Pingmei, The Women Who Lived the Hardest. In the title this time, it seems that Li Ping'er is the protagonist, but in fact the real protagonist is Pan Jinlian. But Pan Jinlian was just a big lantern shining brightly in front of her, and what she reflected was still the overt and covert competition between several women. The roles of several women are different, so their roles are different. Wu Yunyang. First of all, it was Wu Yunyang. Next, Wu Yunyang listened with great interest to Mrs. Wang's story about how Zhang Yuanwei was reincarnated and took over the body. So in the evening, Miss Wang, who was left lying in the same bed with Yunyang, asked her sincerely, one sentence, "How come you, old man, haven't seen any happy events?" Wu Yunyang described her miscarriage experience to her. Speaking of happy events again, in August the day before yesterday, I bought a house from a wealthy family of Kiao, so I went there every day. Look! When he went up the stairs, he slipped and twisted his 67-month-old body. No one has ever seen such a happy person again. There was a hint of unwillingness in this tone, but it was more of a self-consciousness. She has a strong sense of accepting her misfortune and a sense of resignation, but does not have much sadness, which is also in line with Yunyang's reserved status as the first wife of the principal wife. But Miss Wang was afraid that Yunyang would not understand the benefits of having an heir, so she quickly added, "Look at Liu Niang in front of you. Not long after you entered the house, she gave birth to a son. How wonderful!" This sentence has a strong sense of imagery, with the empathy of "I worry about you for fear that the benefits will be lost to others." Wu Yunyang still said calmly, "Each of his children will just follow heaven." In fact, Mrs. Wang understood Yunyang's true thoughts and began to sell the business tactfully. "It doesn't matter. Every time I go with Master Zhu, I will get a piece of good talisman potion." The year before last, Mr. Chen's wife took Master Zhu's talisman potion, and now she is pregnant. How about a full hug of little boy? The whole family is very happy. It's just that it's hard to find an object. What kind of magical object is that? Aunt Wang said, I used the clothes of the firstborn child, washed them with wine, burned them to ashes, and took the medicine with them on the day of Renzi. I ate them with rice wine without anyone noticing or ghosts noticing. Calculate the day. The baby is good, but he started to feel fetal cramps within 1 month. So bad. It turned out to be the uterus of the firstborn child. In this way, he belongs to Guanjie. Wu Yunyang calmly refused. Why harm others to yourself? I and your money. You slowly find another way for me. Wu Yunyang knew very well that eating the cells would damage others and would have a negative impact on the child's fortune. It has a huge influence. She who considers herself a good person cannot do such a thing. Moreover, Brother Guan is Simon King's lifeblood. How can she eat his blood? But Wu Yunyang would definitely not give up this recipe, so she asked Mrs. Wang to slowly find another one for her. At the end, Yunyang did not forget to confess. Don't tell anyone. Wu Yunyang is a little thoughtful. She used to pray when she burned incense on a moonlit night. I don't care about my concubine and the other 6 people. I will see my heir soon. It even moves Simon King to tears. If you have such a big heart, isn't this secret recipe just right now a good chance for an heir? Why keep it private and exclusive? Therefore, Yunyang is also competing secretly. As Aunt Wang said, 10 stars cannot be the same as the moon. If you have a child, your status will become more stable and you will be able to enjoy the blessing of being dominated by one person. So, it can be inferred that the good thoughts towards Brother Guan are also for himself. To take a step back, if she really has no heirs, she is also Guanjie's aunt, and no one can shake this status. As long as she treats Guanjie as her own, she will be rewarded. You can advance or retreat, and you can't lose yourself no matter what. The clouds are light, and the wind is light, and there is a scheming. Let's talk about Li Ping'er. At this stage, Li Ping'er is undoubtedly the happiest woman in Ximen Mansion. She didn't have to fight or grab. Happiness seemed to be like a magnet, sticking to her side so strongly that she couldn't drive it away. In addition to Simon King giving her a thumbs down because of jealousy when she first got married, in the days that followed, her beauty, gentleness, and humility had already captured Simon King's mind. And because she gave birth to Guanjie, she became his exclusive favorite. If it were Pan Jinlian who was the only pamperer, it would be a different story. I think Shao Pan would make the most of the remaining power of being the only pamperer. But Ping'er is not. Ping'er has some heart problems. Especially after having Brother Guan, he has even more weaknesses. Her current mentality is, as long as Brother Guan is safe, it is the greatest blessing. As for a man's love, I hope he gets it equally. And don't let those people just stare at her and be unhappy. She has deep insecurities about this happiness. Just like that, when the lake of happiness is overflowing, you are always afraid that a big hole will suddenly leak out somewhere, and then it will disappear. Therefore, Ping'er is always extremely cautious in her words and deeds. But how can others let her go? Just like the title this time. Although her name is placed loudly at the front, she is passive. Ping'er will love you if you hold a child in your arms. Sounds like irony. How can Ping'er be so rare now? This time, she and her official brother were like two props, being played around by Yunyang and Jinlian. All in all, she is now the target of public criticism. She is easily pushed to the forefront of the storm, and she can't even hide behind her. Let's see, Simon King stayed away all night, missed Pan Jinlian's birthday, and fell asleep when he came back. But Yunyang came up with a trick and said to Li Ping'er, his father is here today. You can help your little Taoist priest put on his clothes and carry him to the front to have a look with his father. Pan Jinlian said, I'll go too. Wait while I dress the Taoist priest. Look! From beginning to end, Ping'er didn't say a word. Next, Brother Guan put on a gold-pinned Taoist bun, a Taoist robe, a top-brand talisman, and small shoes and socks, and Jinlian was about to snatch it away. Yunyang said, ask his mother to hold him. Your honey brown peach embroidered skirt cannot withstand stains. Sprinkle some stains on it and it will stain it. The word Rob used to describe Xiao Pan in this paragraph is so thrilling that even I feel sorry for him. Guang'er in the book was sweating, and you can imagine how nervous Ping'er's mother was. So he added the sentence Li Ping'er hugs Ding Guang'er, which really understands the reader's thoughts. Hold firmly is simply amazing. The mother's hands are the iron hoops that protect the child. Everyone was joking and quarreling, but Ping'er seemed to be far away from the excitement. She only said a few words to Simon King. His eldest mother has laid out the meal and made some sour bamboo shoot soup. Please come and have a meal. She is the one who cares most about a man's warmth and well-being. Ping'er's mind is very single now. She wants to stabilize this happiness and make this happiness last forever. Therefore, she takes retreat in order to advance. She only wants to be long-term and does not want to compete. Ping'er, just burying all your thoughts and true temperament deeply, hiding your foolishness and clumsiness. But you are too tired to live. Let's talk about Pan Jinlian. This development is also a time when Xiao Pan's sense of crisis is getting deeper and deeper day by day. The man who used to look affectionately and wait at the door of the tea house now even missed her birthday completely. No, it's not that he missed it, but he didn't think about it at all. He stayed away all night and fell asleep when he came back, completely forgetting that there was a woman there. Birthdays are needed. What other advantages does Xiao Pan have that can make Master Ximon's eyes turn towards her? This man is now falling asleep, feeling no guilt even though he missed her birthday. Xiao Pan wanted to find a reason to make trouble with Simon King. So Yunyang suggested that Guang'er should dress up as a little Taoist priest for Simon King to see. She responded enthusiastically, I will go too. Wait until I dress the Taoist priest. Pan Jinlian knew very well the position of Brother Guan in Simon King's heart. And she should have expected that Li Ping'er would be more favored in this way, but she was still willing to cooperate with this matter. Because in this way you can justifiably use your eloquent words to ask for the leftovers of a cup of favor. Sure enough, Simon King, who was woken up by the child, was not angry at all. He hugged and kissed Guang'er. Pan Jinlian took advantage of this and made a wisecrack. Yesterday, I sent oxen to plow the fields, but today I am tired. Are you sleepy in broad daylight like this? Yesterday, I asked Fifth Mother to just wait for you. How dare you not come and kowtow to Fifth Mother? So, this resentment towards his birthday was expressed. However, the more exciting highlights are behind. Young maid Jinlian loves you. Xiao Pan did everything he could to please this man. She pretended to be a maid, took off her bun, made a bun on her head, painted her face snow white, painted her lips bright red, wore 2 golden lantern pendants, and stuck 3 face flowers on them. My son, wearing a purple pin gold hoop, found a set of red woven gold hoops and an emerald blue satin skirt. This was Xiao Pan's careful creation. But I suddenly smelled a hint of déjà vu in Pan Jinlian's style. I thought of a woman from before, the charming and strong-tempered Song Huilian, the little maid who fascinated Simon King. She had also dressed up like this delicately, green flash red satin blouse, white stitched skirt. She also put a red gold sweat scarf on her head, with flying gold flowers on her forehead. Gold the lantern hung with ears, and Baimeyer came out and followed the crowd. Under the moonlight, she looked like a fairy, all wearing white silk coats, and the ground was covered with golden armor. Her head was piled with pearls and emeralds, and she had pink face and red lips. Subconsciously, Xiao Pan still thinks that this can rouse Simon King's love. I will also pretend to be a beautiful and cute girl. If I change my role, I don't believe you won't be tempted. Sure enough, Simon King felt lustful when he saw Jinlian dressing up as a girl, wearing heavy makeup under the lamp, and couldn't help but give him a look. Pan Jinlian has been sold back and forth like an object since she was a child, and she has been treated coldly in various ways. I have tasted all kinds of things in the world when it comes to hypocrisy and subterfuge with men, and I really understand men's thoughts. This round, she won. This time, Xiao Pan really won. But it can be seen between the lines that Pan Jinlian is really the woman who lives the hardest in Simon Mansion. The author is also very cruel. And then writes about Xiao Pan's request between the sheets. Sister, they all have clothes to wear. but I only have a few pieces of clothing to count, and none of them are eye-catching. By tomorrow we will put some wine at home and invite all the officials and wives so that we can meet him and not make people laugh. I always say, you are making a fool of yourself. Isn't that sad? She was so dressed up and put so much thought into it just to get some clothes for the banquet. Just this time, I really saw a little helplessness and sadness behind Xiao Pan's vanity, coldness and selfishness. Yun Yang's position is as stable as Mount Tai, and she can advance or retreat. Li Jiar is in charge of the family accounts, and her thoughts don't seem to be all about Simon King. Yu Lu is stable and has money. Pinger has wealth and a son. Sun Sui knows that she has a low status and doesn't love her. The only one who stands out is Xiao Pan, who is pretty, charming, flirtatious and eloquent, but he is the most embarrassing one living in the cracks. Who can say that her increasingly limitless cruelty and badness are not the result of resentment? Let her sigh this time.
Alright, this part of the story ends here.
Want to know what happened next? Let's listen to the breakdown next time.